Yo, this is Lightning Lab 15. It is April 29th, 2024. There have already been some pretty impressive lightnings. North Houston has seen like an insane amount of lightning and training thunderstorms. This weekend there's been a major tornado outbreak in Oklahoma and Nebraska, and there's been some in Texas, and probably the video right before this, or one of the videos right before this, is Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio Wilkins' deadly tornado outbreak. And, you know, I'm getting pretty pissed off about that situation. And, again, it seems like a public spectacle is being made of Alessandra Ambrosio using Anja Ambrosio, in fact, just both of them together, specifically being used to taunt and harass me and cause me emotional distress, along with a number of other celebrities that are participating. So, I mean, it's pissing me off. And I believe it's pissing Yahweh off, and he's making points, and it's hurting people. The fact that Yahweh is doing these severe weather things is directly related to that situation, and I want it over. I want Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio to come and explain themselves. In that video that I discussed, like, it seems like maybe there's compromising material on Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio, like, you know, sex tapes or something, and I feel like they're being maybe used in this way because of bad decisions I'm assuming that Alessandra has made. And I can tell you, just this situation in particular is pissing me off more than any of these other situations. And Yahweh is making points around it very specifically. One of the things that I discussed in the aforementioned video is it seems like the Victoria's Secret angels, you know, biblically the idea of angels, where they get their name from even, is the idea of messengers, that there are messengers of Yahweh, and biblically there are also messengers of Satan. And, you know, Alessandra Ambrosio still even goes by Angel Alessandra. So, Alessandra, are you an angel of Satan, a side character in the Bible, a weak character in the Bible, someone condemned to infinite burning torture along with his angels? Or are you a messenger of the one on the throne of Yahweh God, the Supreme, the Most High? Yo. And, you know, the one conquering at the seven churches of Asia. That situation that you find in Revelation 2 and 3, which is clearly a pulling the sword out of the stone type situation. That it seems like me being the only one talking about it would indicate that that's me. So are you my angel, or are you Satan's angel, Alessandra? I wonder. Well, if you're my angel, come and explain. Come and, be such to the Victoria's Secret angels. Yo, are you my seraphim? As I've shown, it seems like Adriana Lima very clearly wants to call herself the seraphim. Herself and Taylor Hill and the other angels, seraphim. So what is it, angels? Yahweh, you have anything to say about it? Being that I'm the only person that I see doing anything remotely like a deity or remotely like someone with superpowers, I would suggest that, the character of Satan is literally just someone who's snaked away human authority. Someone like, an emperor or something, someone that high in the world, but they don't actually have power. And going up against, well, seemingly me, they don't even have the power to defeat me, let alone Yahweh God. So, that this person has used snaky kind of strikes using sexuality to disempower people is one of those, it's tried to do that to me, but I think being caught out in the way it has, I don't think it can stand. But I'll leave it to Yahweh. Yahweh, do you have anything to show or say? You've already shown, I've already seen some crazy lightning tonight, even just, or I've heard it. It was more explosive and thunderous than anything. One of the things that seems very evident to me is that something is watching. It seems like even the public are like, a public spectacle has been made of my private reality, what's in my photo gallery in my iPhone, what's in my hard drive on my computer. And when I'm making these kind of points in it, and the points related to specifically that there's going to be tornadoes, I think even before I make it, it's already manifesting. Right? Does that make sense? So what was going on earlier in the weekend, after I said it, it was followed by numerous tornadoes. I mean, this is maybe the most, I think I heard that it's, I don't know if it was just for Nebraska or there's a lot of tornadoes in Nebraska, so that would still be pretty impressive. But just for a weekend in total, the most tornado warnings in a 24-hour period or in a single weekend or something, in a single day. I mean, there's literally like hundreds of tornado warnings this weekend. And when my story in pictures is very clearly like one of the messages that I've left is like, hey, this is pissing me off. Like, it's making me sick, it's hurting my family, and it's pissing me off. If Alessandra and Anja are friendly, like actually friendly, and not just trying to lead me on in order, I mean, I think they're getting, if they're not actually friendly, I think they're just getting paid to do so. Like, I think they're getting clout or money, or they've gotten something for it, or else, like I said, maybe there's compromising material on Alessandra Ambrosio, and maybe there's child porn of Anja and Noah. You know, if that's not the case, Alessandra is very welcome to come and speak in person. You know what I mean? Come sit, right? But, you know, it seems like she's enjoying this idea of like she can be far away, and the law is allowing her and other people to use really underhanded and evil methods to harass me. And they don't have to use their words directly. They're using their actions. They're using all the content generated into their social media, or much of it. And it is disturbing me. It is bothersome to me. It's hurtful. This is on top of whatever the thing is going on with Stephanie Houston. It is clearly happening. That people are pretending is... Why? I think people have lost their fucking minds. Seems like it. And they're trying to make some point to me or to God or something. Like, I feel caught in the middle of all this. I think people are trying to make a point to God and maybe to themselves or something. And I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm caught in the middle of like, yo, I just want to exist. Whatever the fuck you're trying to teach me or tell me, it's not well taken. Let's take a look at the radar, actually. Might as well. Recently, I've been watching a number of, you know, my YouTube recommended. You click one, like, I clicked one message that looked like from one of these, like, tarot reading or, like, spiritists or whatever. And when I talk about spirit, they don't really say Jesus. They don't really say Yahweh, but whatever. What it ends up looking like to me is, like, first of all, that people are watching, that a bunch of these people on YouTube or wherever that are claiming to be Christian just are clearly not. You're just lying, and you're hoping that Yahweh isn't going to do something about it. And, or you completely misunderstand Jesus and Yahweh. But what it seems a lot to me like is a lot of these wizards and magicians on YouTube are just willing to speak things about the situation that, as I said, the Christians should be just saying, you know? And it's really obvious to me, like, that should be the case. But even more so, even the wizards and witches and shit, like I'm saying, are clearly saying, like, to the people who are messing with me and, like, trying to harass and disturb me, they're even saying, like, which, you know, it's self-defeating if they're saying it and they're doing it, which some of them are. And I think I've made at least one video about that. But the idea that these people are being watched, these, like, celebrities, it's not like you're above being thrown in jail. It's not like you're above, especially, like, I prove out Yahweh, and I have the power it describes in the end of the book. You're not above being thrown into the burning lake. In fact, that's going to be the fate of a lot of these, like, abusive, shithead people. So I'm just at this point where it's, like, laughable, the fact that, again, even the YouTube wizards are, like, basically saying y'all are screwed. When they're speaking about the sacrifices not working, and it does seem like people are sacrificing people's sexuality on the altar of trying to tear me down, especially even kids' sexuality. So to whatever the Beyonce Fernanda Mota thing is, go look at my videos. It seems very clear that a bunch of celebrities got themselves into some shit they don't understand, and that is, you know, they're messing with Yahweh, who is way above their pay grade. If it wasn't for the fact that it was bothering me, it would not even register as a blip to Yahweh. But because you're messing with someone who is asking Yahweh for help, I'm invoking Yahweh, I think Yahweh is making a point to say, don't do this. Striking out at the people they love most, because they've struck me in a way that modern day law and science is not going to be able to prove out and help me with. So I have to cooperate with Yahweh. Cooperate. Operator. Ring ring. And Yahweh is showing, don't do this. Leave Matthew alone. I'll say this, leave me alone. Yo, leave me alone. Except Alessandra and Anja Broder, whatever that situation is, it's already at the point. They're either coming or I need to see some justice in this situation. And I believe there's going to be continued extreme disaster obviously associated with them harassing me. Are they harassing me or are they my friends? Because it seems like they're angels for some other deity who's making some kind of point to fuck with me in a way that you should not be fucking with me. Right? Yeah. Yahweh, would you like to illustrate anything? As if there's not already, as if this isn't 15, as if we aren't 15 videos into the Lightning Labs, not just the videos of like crazy lightning stuff going on, but 15 into like, well, do I have lightning ability? What is going on? Very clearly, when Yahweh wants me to, yeah, I do. When he wants me to, when he wants to just not do anything, I mean, you don't have to. What am I going to force the God of all existence to do anything? I think by the time I'm on the throne, we're just one entity. But at this point, Yahweh is a spirit. I'm the dude conquering at the 7 churches, it would seem. Being that I'm the only one saying it. Who else is saying exactly what it is? That it's 7 if-then conditional statement sets. If you do this, then you get this. Very similar to if you pull the sword out the stone, you get to be the King of England. If you conquer at the 7 churches of Asia, you get to sit on the throne of Yahweh with all the gifts of essentially Jesus. With all the gifts of Yahweh. You know, part of my nature as a human, as a person, is that I want to talk, right? But sometimes it's just appropriate to listen. And thus the moments of silence are dedicated to that idea. In fact, to look and to listen. I will say every one of these videos is a clear opportunity in my mind for Satan to fall from the sky like lightning. Fall from heaven, right? Like lightning. It's a symbolic idea. Satan's not a dude in a cloud up in the sky. It's someone who's gotten themselves in a lofty, exalted place where they feel as if they're untouchable. They're not. Especially not for Yahweh. For Yah. Also, you ever see that movie Tenet? And it's like T-E-N-E-T? Yahweh. W-A, well, you know, the way I say it, because once it goes into English, it doesn't have to be spelled any specific way. Y-A-W-A-Y. If you capitalize it, it is a symmetrical word. 100%. It's like Tenet. Is that where I get the IP for Tenet? Just actually. Maybe, yeah. I symmetrical word is yay, Y-A-Y. It's all caps in English. Thinking a lot about symmetry. These are very energetic storms. Like, all the storms this weekend have had incredible amounts of lightning. In fact, I even responded. I made a shorter version of my lightning flex video, the one where I like, and I flex, and then you see like, it wasn't even a normal looking lightning. It's like a Yahweh showing out to make a point kind of lightning. And anyway, I responded to a Twitter post where some you know, maybe weather forecaster for like an affiliate news station or something was basically like a meteorologist. I can't remember his name, but basically said like, hey, this place has just been like every bit on the map has had at least one or maybe multiple lightning strikes. Like, everything is covered. And I just posted I posted the video, the 7-second or 8-second version of the lightning flex. I wanted to make it a YouTube short, but you had to change the aspect ratio, and this type of video will not work because I need the whole thing to show whatever. But oh, the mic caught that. I just farted. Alessandro, where are you at? Why aren't we doing fart things yet? Anyway, yeah. But then I posted a video, like, it's because I'm angry. And then I posted music, like some music or track that I'm putting into one of the Alessandro or Andre Ambrosio mix, and it's called Angie by Careless Castles. And it's like, right before the drop, the sample is like, don't make me angry. Like, that's how I feel, like, don't make me angry. I think they're trying to. Like, I think that's been the point of a lot of this, is like, something's trying to test me and experiment on me. And it's evil. That is beyond fucking evil. If you're trying to do that, stop. Yahweh will hurt the people you love most for trying to do that. In a way only God can. Cancer, disease, whatever. Yahweh is known in the New Testament and in the Bible as someone that can heal. In the same way, like, when Jesus calms the storm, it's supposed to make you understand mastery over the storm, and that Jesus has come to calm the storm and not to create the storm. The issue is that version of Jesus has been around 2,000 years. If people wanted that version, they would be going for that version. They don't. What they're asking for is I've come with a sword and the iron rod, Jesus, right? And at that point, he's Yahweh, right? Right. And you know, it just, like, it's just annoying. Like, at this point, my whole point about the fucking wizards are giving more respect to this situation going on around me. When I'm saying to these Christians, yo, you need to speak up into my situation. This shit needs to end. Trying to test me and figure out what the fuck, whether I'm actually connected to Yahweh. Hypothetically, I am. You're testing Yahweh. Yahweh does not like that. Right? That is something explicitly Yahweh says not to do. But it doesn't seem to just be the Christians. The Christians, however, if I am the dude conquering at the 7 churches of Asia, which, very clearly I am, you're supposed to listen to me. I'm at the head of the church, right? And yet something is making a point. probably the same something where it's like the church here in America is like led by. I mean, the church everywhere seems to be led by fucking wolves and snakes, right? Or wolves. There's a reason Jesus says, be wise as a snake, so that you can see that for what it is. The fact that T.D. Jakes is caught up in the P. Diddy stuff. And what I'm saying, I mean, very clearly what you can see going on in my reality, I'm fucking dealing with Jay-Z and Beyonce harassing me, and fucking, I guess, Justin Bieber and Haley Bieber and, or Haley Baldwin, whatever. Haley Baldwin Bieber. Whatever the fuck, man. You know. Like, people who have... Okay, if I'm the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia, if I'm basically Yahweh and Jesus, you should just do what I say when I say something. Like, you should respond not with picture imagery. You should use your words. If something's blocking me, I would suggest you use every effort to cut that shit out of my reality. And if you are blocking me, you should stop. Are these delusions of grandeur? They might be if I wasn't able to show a consistent pattern over years that this shit is going on. They might be. If I couldn't. But I can and I do. So, I mean, I think they really fucked up with some of that. And if I seem unpleasant, yeah, it's been going on for a while. It's physically hurting me. It's hurting my family too. This is why Yahweh would take drastic measures against y'all and y'all's families. Like, why would he care if you don't care about me? Why would I care if you don't care about me or my family? My family is not the one, like, I'm not the one at threat, personally at least. I can speak for myself. I'm not the one at threat of infinite burning torture. The second death. That is not something I'm worried about at all. That's what the second church thing is about. It says you will in no way be hurt by the second death. These people, however, that are fucking with me, even if they're wealthy celebrities, I don't think their lives are enjoyable. I think they're very stressful, and that most of them are phonies that rely on, like, I don't know, they think they're mental assassins or something that, you know, use their influence for the system or whatever. I don't, you know, who knows what it is? Can I map it out exactly? No. That's why I think the Bible just calls it the Nicolaitans, because it's just something that operates in the chaos anyway, so it's not like it's something completely trackable. Though most of these people's actions, I think, are, and I think that's what the YouTube wizards, you know, the people doing all the tarot and magic and shit on YouTube, which at this point, I can just describe as, okay, are they just contractors at this point? Like, because that's what it seems like. They seem more willing to speak out about this than the Christians do. The Christians like, yo, again, if I'm the one conquering the seven churches of Asia, I'm asking you to do it. You better be doing it. It is, again, mind-boggling to me that this is still going on like it is. I'm so tired of the Alessandra Ambrosio situation. Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio. Ambrosio Wilkins. They're my wives, of course, right? It's crazy to me being the one conquering the seven churches of Asia. That would make me, you know, that put me on the throne of Yahweh. And I think the idea of that is, no, you get to be King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Essentially, it's like a Persian title for the emperor. You know, someone above kings, someone above sultans, someone above everybody in rank. And this would apply not just earth wise, but in the kingdom of heaven, which is here on earth after a singularity occurs. I mean, after, once hypothetically all the governments and everybody just decided to go one direction, we'd go so fast into a place where everything's fixed, it's like fucking unbelievable. The reason we don't is that all sorts of groups are trying to snake off theirs because they think it's a zero-sum game, so everybody's like snaking off what little bit they can instead of like coming together to actually get to that point. So, and it seems like biblically the only thing that gets us past that is that there's a significant event and time of tribulation coming. I feel like we've been in kind of perilous times, but it just, to me, what I see like unfolding, I can see why it would be a time of tribulation. When I see that they're praising terrorist organizations like Hamas and whatever in these places, and yet most of these college students have no idea the history of what's gone on. They just parrot things that they've heard on, whatever, name it, talking point, wherever the fuck they're getting their information from, which generally it seems really wrong. Mostly because it is. But I just see something unfolding. I see like college students, like like clueless Western college students, like, or American and whatever else, and they're like reciting Islamic prayer, and I'm like, this is just at its most basic, Islam is a complete knockoff of Christianity and Judaism. I mean, that's just what it is. Allah is a title of Yahweh. It is not even the full title of Yahweh. It's just a word meaning deity. It is janky that word, it's even a reoccurring narrative and theme in the Bible that a title of Yahweh is used by the people so much that it replaces the name Yahweh, and then they deify that title. Of course, it would happen with the literal word deity or God. That's what Allah is. It's just the Hebrew and then into Arabic, because Arabic is a derivative language from Hebrew, so most of the words are just direct cognates because it's just stolen from the Jews, stolen from Hebrew, right? There's a reason the Bible talks about salvation is of the Jews, but a time is coming where the true followers of God, the true children of God, will worship in the Father in spirit and in truth. And, modern day Judaism doesn't do that. It omits that there are certain things that have had to have happened based on prophetic word in the Old Testament. And so they follow, commentary by rabbis. But, anyway, that's kind of diverging from the point of, like, I just see some incredible tribulation. And it seems to some degree to already be here, but I don't even think we're close to how bad this is going to get. And I think when that happens, I think these people messing with me, like Alessandro, Nacho, and Bruno, I think you and your whole family is screwed. If you aren't on my side, like, the fact that whatever you've tried has not worked, if you've tried to do something adversarial to me, because it's like, this is how this is continuing, is like they ride this fine line between like being helpful and friendly, and yet using that, they like hold the power of that to use that in a way which could be, I would even say fatal, but like poisonous towards me. Like, again, it feels like they're some kind of parasite. If that's not the case, well then come and explain yourselves. If that is the case, well then, you see what's up. And when this kicks up to the next level, they have no use, they are not with me, and then they have no use to the people who've been using them. And I think when you see what starts going on in this upcoming period, it's going to be terrifying to not have backing by something with actual authority. And Yahweh has actual authority. It would seem like I have actual authority, even though people are trying to pretend that I don't. Which again is problematic. One of my points is that, well, I've been trying to make certain of these points clear for a while. A lot of people get hurt over this fake religion that I'm talking about, Islam. A lot of people. And they don't talk things out. When they do, they usually lose, or they have to revise history, or they have to lie, or something. But for the most part, they just take violent action. It's subjugate with the sword. You know, it's a rape religion. It is submit or die. That's what rapists say. It's not what God says. It's not what Yahweh actually says. So something pretending to be God is using this idea of submit or die. It's rape. At what point does it get so obvious that what's going on as far as the severe cataclysmic, natural, I mean, I guess it's natural, but it's like, it's all, Yahweh has supernatural power and can control it, but at what point do you look at that and say, there's enough of a pattern around Matthew Ray Wilkins to say that when people are harassing him, Yahweh will make a point to defend him and to make a point to what should be the authorities, right? The government and stuff. I'm not really asking for the police for help because they've already helped the other side and thrown me in jail on bullshit around this situation. So I'm not particularly asking for that. Whatever needs to rule in my favor, however, that Alessandro and Andre Ambrosio either need to be like, yo, you don't get a public image. You don't get to be a public figure. Or they're forced to come and actually engage with me. And, I guess be my dogs or something. But maybe Alessandro and Andre Ambrosio Wilkins. With a hyphen in between everything. At what point does whatever human authority that needs to be engaging this correctly, at what point does that authority go? Whatever is going on with them, it's pissing him off so much that it's pissing off Yahweh. It's disturbing him so much that it's pissing off Yahweh. Like, I think Alessandro and Andre Ambrosio Wilkins need to be forced to come be my dogs. If you got a problem with that, well, how about you tell them to stop fucking with me? Why don't we start with that one? I mean, actually, it looks, just based off what I can look at Andre Ambrosio, it looks like she wants to be my dog anyway. Which, cool, okay, come on. But, it's a shitty situation that I find myself in, that this is going on. It's not like I haven't been literally thrown in jail on bullshit and lies over in this situation. It's not like I haven't been experienced multiple thefts, which should be pretty trackable, been defrauded. The fact that my stuff is public, the fact that whatever has gone on with Opacity Coin, where the developer, based on everything I can tell, Jason Coppola literally stopped working on it because my guess is he was paid to stop. Because there's so much, in crypto, it doesn't take much to move things upward at certain times. There's so much that just literally actually developing this coin that would have utility, if you actually just developed it, you'd make a lot of money. You'd have a valuable cryptocurrency that would actually have utility. The fact that it seems like something paid him off to stop because I had a significant amount in it, and to do it in a way so as to not just set off any alarms. I will say this. I think because of this, whatever's watching has enough to things have gone in my favor because of it that might not have otherwise, because it is so obviously happening. I'll also say this. I don't think I'm connected to this stuff for no reason. It's because I relatively, at least on what I try to do is be honest. I try to be honest, and I try to actually, I try to be good. It says there's none good but God, but I try to be good. To do the right thing. I feel really wronged by a lot of people, and I think Yahweh takes that personally. This is why it seems like Alessandro Ambrosio and Andre Ambrosio are not on my team. It seems like they're just this thing used to string me along and build my hope up and then snatch it. which I understand that. Well, let me prove it out over a long period of time, which is what I've done. And, at a certain point,
of Huntsville, as well as north of Conroe. So Liberty, Montgomery, Sanchez, and Walker counties dealing with that flash flood warning as they've seen many hours of torrential rainfall. But right now, along I-10, just north of Anahuac, as we are expecting that radar indicated rotation that is currently ongoing at the current moment. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our velocity to see exactly what we are seeing that right now. That rotation is just north of Wallaceville, and that is heading directly towards the east along I-10. So something to keep an eye on if you do have to travel along the I-10 east of the city of Houston, that we are dealing with an active tornado warning in place, as we are seeing some radar indicated rotation with these storms as they are becoming stronger as those storms are moving off towards the east. So east of Houston, Wallaceville dealing with that tornado warning north of the city. So definitely expecting more of an active morning as we head into the next several hours. So looking across southeast Texas, that widespread rain still falling across the Houston area, even seeing lots of lightning with these storms. But we are definitely dealing with some of these storms becoming stronger as they're starting to move off towards the southeast. Lots of lightning, as well as that tornado warning in place for portions of Chambers County as well as Liberty County as we head into the next couple of hours. So expecting areas along I-10, Hannamaker, as well as Moss Bluff, south of Liberty. We are seeing some rotation ongoing with these storms as they currently are making their way around Wallaceville. So that rotation is you're able to see that a little bit of a spin in our wind speeds, as well as those winds blowing towards the radar and even away from the radar. When you start seeing that spin, that's where we're seeing that rotation that is moving along I-10 just north of Wallaceville. I'm going to go ahead and loop this a bit as we head into the next few hours. So looking at that, taking more of a northerly track towards Moss Bluff. You want to be inside your home as well as away from windows if you are in this area. If you are in and around Chambers County, north of Wallaceville and north of Anahuac, as we are seeing some rotation with these storms as it's moving east of the city of Houston. So we are expecting this rain to still linger for the next few hours, but definitely expecting these conditions to remain mostly active across the area as we go into the next few hours. Lots of heavy rain ongoing across downtown Houston, lots of lightning. These storms are now moving off towards the east as we have dealt with several hours of torrential rainfall north of the city of Houston. But right now, as these storms are moving towards Louisiana, towards Beaumont, they are becoming stronger as we progress through the morning, and there is a tornado warning that's in effect for portions of Chambers and Liberty County with lots of large hails, about an inch diameter of hail with these storms, but definitely expecting this rotation to still take place as we head into the next few hours. This is north of Trinity Bay, and this is moving north of Hankimer there as we go into the next maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So even areas around Winnie might want to be paying attention to this situation east of the city of Houston. So this is moving away from town, but areas in Chambers and Liberty County dealing with that tornado warning that will be in effect until 4:15 this morning. Currently seeing those conditions these storms becoming stronger as they're starting to make that southeasterly movement across the area. And like I said, we've been dealing with lots of rain, not for the city of Houston, but areas north of the city, even the Conroe Spring, as well as Huntsville, now seeing more of that heavier rainfall. They're dealing with a flash flooding emergency in and around the city of Huntsville. But right now, as these storms are making that southeasterly track, we are expecting them to become stronger, as well as seeing that tornado threat still in place as they continue its movement across the I-10 corridor across Beaumont. So even Hobby, downtown Houston dealing with some heavy rain, but these storms are stronger directly east of the city of Houston with that tornado warning in effect until 4:15. But go ahead and look at that rotation once again across what's going on east of the city of Houston. So we are expecting those conditions to once again starting to deteriorate as these storms are becoming stronger. We're seeing more of a broader rotation with this as we go into the next maybe 30 minutes to an hour, but we are expecting these storms to become stronger at least through the morning across southeast Texas as they start moving a southeasterly approach for even north of Anahuac. So as you're able to see that rotation just right there right here along I-10, that's when we're seeing that rotation just north of I-10 as it makes its way towards the east. This is looking at the wind speeds, with the winds blowing away from the radar and toward the radar. So as we look at the overall picture here, as we look at these storms, we were dealing with flash flooding, life-threatening flash flooding from Conroe to Huntsville, even Livingston, Cleveland, dealing with that torrential rainfall that has been in place for the past several hours. But right now, as these storms are making a more of a southeasterly movement, southeast of the city of Houston, we're now starting to see them become stronger as they make their way along I-10 towards Beaumont. So something to keep an eye on if you are east of Houston, with that tornado warning had just been issued for portions of Liberty County as well as Trinity counties, but we are expecting that to continue at least through the next couple of hours as these storms are really slow movement, just moving storms. That tornado warning in effect, like I just said, until 4:15 this morning for Chambers and Liberty counties. We are seeing a 1-inch diameter of hail also with these storms, but we are also expecting this to continue at least to the next 30 to 45 minutes. North of Anahuac, moving along I-10 in direction towards Highway 90. This is just to the northeast of Baytown. So north of Anahuac along I-10 is when we're seeing that rotation. Then until 4:15 a.m. is when the National Weather Service is continuing that tornado warning, thanks to some rotation that is with this particular thunderstorm that is moving over just north of Anahuac along I-10. So I know we're getting into the early morning hours. If you are traveling in that direction, we have a lot of refineries in this location. Keep in mind that that tornado warning is in effect for portions of Chambers and Liberty counties until 4:15 in the morning. We'll go ahead and zoom in here so we can look at some road names of where some of this rotation is currently happening. So as we look at that, it looks like it's becoming a little bit more broader. Actually, we're seeing more of a distinctive rotation there. So this is to the east of FM 563, south of Moss Bluff. So if you are in that location north of I-10, that's where we're seeing some of this rotation that's currently happening in and around this location right here. As it continues, it's more of a northward track. So lots of strong storms that are continuing to take place across southeast Texas. We're dealing with that flash flooding emergency that was currently in place for portions north of the city of Conroe, even around Huntsville and Walker County. But now we're dealing with this tornado threat that is still currently in place for portions of Chambers and Liberty counties. So we are expecting that to continue at least until 4:15 this morning. The National Weather Service is continuing that, as well as a severe thunderstorm warning that will be in place. Just in, we are now seeing a flood warning in place for around Baytown. So they're definitely seeing that flooding threat now starting to increase for East Houston. That does include portions of the Eastern Beltway, as well as Channelview, Baytown, LaPorte. They're now issuing that flood advisory as we go into the next couple of hours, as this rain is really not expecting to lighten up, at least for the next 30 minutes. But also that tornado warning north of Anahuac, that does include portions of Liberty and Chambers County. That is until 4:15 in the morning. We could see some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this storm as it continues. But if you are traveling along I-10 north of Baytown, if you're heading towards Beaumont this morning, you might want to pay attention to really what's happening right now, because we are expecting that rotation to still be in place as we head into the next 30 minutes, at least to the next 45 minutes. So we're still dealing with some heavy rainfall in and around downtown Houston. I know one of our digital producers was saying there was like sheets of rain that was falling. They're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning that's also in place for portions of Galveston and Harris counties. So south of Deer Park, including the city of Seabrook, Bay Oaks, we're seeing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this storm. This is north of Leak City, so we're really going to have to also keep an eye on this storm that is behind that initial tornado warning storm that's along I-10. So this is a new area that we're keeping an eye on as we go into the next 30, 40 minutes here across the area. That severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 4:30 this morning. This is affecting around 58,000 people around Bay Oaks, but also what we're really going to have to see is what's going to take place as we heading to the next 30 minutes to an hour. That tornado, again, if you're just now tuning in, that tornado warning in place for portions of Chambers and Liberty County, that is north of Anahuac. That does include, this is moving in more of a northeasterly direction. That's going to be until 4:15 a.m. as now the flooding threat is also increasing as this heavy rainfall has been falling at least for the last 30 minutes to an hour. So looking at the current rainfall, we're seeing good probably 6 to 9 inches of rain that has fallen north of the city of Houston. Right now, seeing if you are in southeast Houston, you're seeing that heavy rain, but they're also issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for portions of Galveston and Harris counties behind that. So any storm that is now moving in the northeasterly direction, we're really going to have to watch, especially for that rotation. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our wind speeds across the area to see exactly what's going on with these storms. Right now, not seeing any rotation with that storm that's over Lake City and Seabrook, but we are still seeing a rotation ongoing with that storm that's near just to the north of Wallaceville. So if you are along I-10 near just south of Moss Bluff, south of Liberty, if you are traveling to your workplace that's along I-10, keep in mind that the tornado warning was in place. I believe that they had just expired that warning. So we're continuing to track these storms as well as this torrential rain that has been falling across the city of Houston. At least we're expecting that to at least last through the 4 o'clock, through the 7 a.m. hour, and we'll continue to track that as we head throughout the morning. And always you can stay up to date on KHOU11.com.
At times, scuffling with police. Wait.
All right. Yeah, I just had that on, and then I guess my speakers were off. I mean, they were on, but they kind of go to sleep if you don't play anything for a bit. And so, probably caught the very beginning of that. But definitely, you know, the idea that there's a tornado warning. I mean, come on. It's not like this. Most of these storms that I do these videos for, there's not tornado warnings around here. I feel like for Houston especially, Yahweh is incredibly graceful. Like, he could make a point specifically around here. He's very, like, at least with what I see around my area specifically, it's like, you know, it seems like he puts on a show. Does not seem like that with these storms for most other places. They seem very chaotic and violent in a lot of other places. Kind of my point is, and has been, okay, well, that's very clearly the power of Yahweh over these things. It is disturbing me that Alessandra Ambrosio and Andra Ambrosio Wilkins haven't made very clear what is going on with them, because they are very clearly using their content on social media to make points to me. A number of people are that probably shouldn't be, which would suggest that something's going on with me. I mean, very clearly, you don't see the lightning stuff with anybody else. There's a number of other things that you don't see with other people. I think the only reason I can do anything special is I believe in Yahweh a lot. People don't like that, so they make points to me, and then Yahweh makes points to not make points to me. And then it's just a vicious cycle that continues and goes all the way up until I guess I'm on the throne of Yahweh. It was like, you know, I guess it gets to a point where it's like, I don't know, you know, people are going to be evil to you and not fair. I mean, they do that to everybody. But even when I'm saying, like, when Yahweh is saying, like, don't, people are still going to. And so I think people have taken things further than they should have, for sure. That's to say the least. Even the YouTube wizards are saying it. So, I mean, I feel like the only thing that he and Jesus could, like, make it up to me, because I think they would do that, you know.
And show you this rotation, the wind speeds with this storm, particularly, we're seeing that right there near just north of Wallaceville. We're able to see this little differentiation of the colors of our wind speeds. This is south of Moss Bluff as well as north of Wallaceville. So something to really keep an eye on if you are in this location. You want to be in the centermost portion of your home, away from those windows, possibly in a closet or in the restroom, as we are dealing with that tornado warning that is currently in place, and that's going to be lasting. This is a new one that was just issued. There was also a severe thunderstorm warning that was in place for portions of Galveston counties, but right now in the city of Houston, rain really lightening up for downtown Houston, but that is not the case for the southeast portions of the city. But right now we are tracking those as these storms are moving in a more of a southeastern direction. Those they're starting to become a bit more stronger and severe going into the next few hours. So severe thunderstorm warning in place for portions of Galveston County, but we're also expecting this, as this continues its track off towards the northeast, even near Mont Bellevue. We are expecting that to continue at least for the next possibly 30 to 40 minutes. So this is expected to expire around 4:15. We're also seeing hail to 1 inches. This is south of Moss. Lots of lightning ongoing with these storms as they're now making its way towards along I-10 towards in the direction of Beaumont going into the next few hours. We are expecting these storms to at least linger across the area for the most part, but expect that tornado warning to be in place for portions of Chambers and Liberty counties.
See if there was an update, I guess, because it came back on. Because normally they just have it on and just, rolling the radar. And I do think, I kept saying a while back that they need to increase the bit rate. I think they finally did that. I noticed, guys. Look. I don't know if you could hear them because, it's hard to hear what's coming from the speakers over there, but maybe, since I guess it is in this direction, they're kind of pointing this way. But anyway, I think the thing that I was saying is that the flash flood warning, by the way, north of Houston. It was just like training over. It wasn't even training. It was like the storms just stopped and were like rolling on top of themselves. It was very interesting to watch. A lot of the storms this weekend have been very interesting to watch. Again, we don't get a lot of tornado warnings. Every storm has caused at least one or two. You can see there's 2 ongoing warnings. There's a Harris County tornado warning. So they're radar indicated, but it's not as if there's nothing there. That's the idea. There's something there. It's just, is it on the ground causing damage? Kind of my point with this has been, hey, at any point Yahweh could. Whatever's going on with Alessandra and Anto Ambrosio Wilkins, that is pissing me. It's clearly bothering me. I think it's pissing Yahweh off. One thing I can say though is most of the lightning is past. That doesn't mean we can't have something happen, but I'm not gonna sit here hoping for a lightning above us. I'd rather this be a shorter video, to be honest. I have plenty of cool lightning on my channel. It's not like I just need to keep infinitely collecting more lightnings. I have enough instances of lightning reacting to me where I don't even think I need to do any more of that really to prove out that that's something that Yahweh can do. Which would prove that Yahweh's in control. He doesn't have to again, Yahweh doesn't like being tested. So the fact that I'm even doing this, I think Yahweh's allowing me to cooperate, but I don't particularly think Yahweh likes having to show out for people. What are you, a sack of meat to add to be trying to force the deity that, like, the thing that created everything. Like, I don't know, I can't use a bunch more words than the Bible already has to, like, describe the grandiosity of Yahweh, but, you know, the intelligence that made everything. The wisdom, the one that has wisdom, the true wisdom, the one that has true understanding and knowledge, Yahweh. God. You know, I think a lot of this proves out very clearly he's willing to work with me, and that there aren't other deities. There are spiritual entities that try to emulate. They will never be Yahweh. They never could be Yahweh. This situation with Alessandra and Andra Ambrosio Wilkins, my dogs. Fingers crossed, y'all. I mean, one of the ways that I get through this is just clowning the situation, because, you know, if I take it too seriously, I'll lose my fucking mind. Like, actually, I think that already happened at one point. I mean, did it really? No, it just drives me to a point of, like, it's like a venomous anger that women would be so hypocritical and abusive and evil. And I can see a bunch of women are, like, doing that towards me. Women who are wealthier than me, that have more social power and influence than me, that have more more of everything, it would seem, other than truth and God. God is the truth. But so all these people who are liars, I mean, I guess they have money and stuff. But money and stuff, yeah. But it's just, it's hard to believe that people would be like this. Like, you don't, at least, I mean, I know people are evil, but at a certain point, it's like the entire thing is looking at them and, like, kind of like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You don't think this could be remedied at any moment? You don't think even the end of the book of Revelation, like in Revelation, the 1260-day period that the witnesses go around, you don't even think that that's just very clearly because of, well, if I write down a specific number of days and end it in that specific number of days, and it's 3.5 years, there's a lot of patience that Yahweh has during that period. You don't think that that's like, at that point, Yahweh can just be like, to anything reasonable, I've proven my point out. If I have to go longer, you're not reasonable. It's already longer than it needs to be, that it's 1,260 days. But the fact that he does it for a specific number of days, that's incredibly patient, uber patient, is, I think, telling of partially the power of Yahweh. I will say I do enjoy seeing the cool lightning stuff. I mean, it's not like I don't enjoy it. Actually, the best lightning of the night happened right before I turned the camera. It's probably on the OBS on this recording, but it's not going to be on any of the other recordings, which is a bummer, but it was a booming thunder. It's one of those thunder boomers. Say, like a cracking, explosive thunder. Nice boom to it, you know what I'm saying? They got different types of thunder. You can see it on all the just stuff on my own channel. You got one that sounds like a gunshot, you got one that sounds like an explosive bomb going off, you got one that sounds like sounds like thunder. Like I don't think there's anything else that really makes that kind of sound. You got low rumbly boys. You got kind of almost like high pitched crackly things. I guess one of the other things that, speaking of Alessandra and Andrea, I mean, are there? Does she have 2 sons that she hasn't like? What's that? The thing I was even saying this about Andrea is that, like, there's 2 of them, or they're body doubles or something. I feel like there's some weird shit is going on with that situation. But whatever it is, just the fact that these people who have like all sorts of stuff, you know what I mean, are watching me and like making a point to fuck with me and harass me is that what you're doing? Because it's either you're harassing me or you're my friends. But if you're my friends, you wouldn't just stay silent and not actually come. There comes a point where like there's no reason to continue even looking at them. But I want to make this art, so I want to make these mixes. The Alessandra Ambrosio mix, Alessandra Ambrosio Wilkins mix, and the Andrea Ambrosio Wilkins mix, and the Ale and Andrea Ambrosio Wilkins mix. And I do want to make those, so that's currently what I'm working on. But I'm also putting a lot of I'm going through my a large portion of my library, and that's like thousands and thousands of songs. So it's just it's not going to be an immediate thing, as much as I was enjoying what I've already even put on my YouTube there for the Alessandra Ambrosio mix. I want to make it more, and I'm also like taking some of this stuff and like I'm working on a Beyonce mix. Yeah, Beyonce, you get a mix too, asshole. I mean, actually, but so everybody else did Dua Lipa mix, right? Working on an ambush mix, a Gritzy mix, a Depika Paducone, a Pikachu mix, Pikachu, Vera Del Toro mix, Stella Maxwell mix, Arena Shike mix. This is like my Muse mix series. At this point, if I gotta look at these people who are fucking with me and harassing me, at least let me get some good art out of it. Like, actually. It's cathartic, I think. That being said, I would rather, like, the situation with Alessandra and Andrea Ambrosio is, like, I would rather that just be over. Whatever's going on. I'm not trying to be a simp for them, but at the same time, if they accomplish the 7 Churches of Asia thing, or if someone does, it seems like whatever it is, I'm able to see better after engaging this situation. Not that I want to continue to look at it, because again, it just seems like they're being used to like string me along, string the situation along or something. Based on all this stuff on my YouTube, if they came, that's the end. That's the end of like whatever even the world of celebrity is. It just falls apart. It just melts. There's like a literally new order built around the fact that these people have just been fucking lying about everything. And when you see like the entire music industry falling, Like, the stuff that's gone on with, like, P. Diddy, that shit's far more common. And then, like, it's not just P. Diddy. I think you just piss someone off. You know, if you don't toe the line, they make an example out of you. And, like, all these fucking people have compromised material on them. Same thing with politicians and stuff like that. The issue is there's people who do not give a fuck. Like, actually. So, you know, and it seems like whatever tried to use, like, a honeypot on me or something, like, I don't think Alessandra and Andre Ambrosio are the only ones. I just think maybe they're the ones that end it. That's why I'm putting a lot of effort into it. Or they'll draw out the one that ends it. Seems like the thing that happened with Beyonce and Fernando that probably was actually that. That's what it felt like. That's what it seems like. I guess we'll see. Or I'll see. Anyway, I don't really want to... I don't see any reason to just do this for that one. I think I'm going to let this go to 125 or something. Just end it there. That just give me a few more moments to wrap this up. Basically, just repeat the same. Oh, the possums. Possum in the neighbor's yard, and possum in our yard. They're just like scouring the neighborhood. I obviously realize this is not like a normal situation, but normal shit doesn't happen around me. Very abnormal stuff happens around me. You're gonna pretend that it doesn't. You're the problem. And very clearly, I'm not the only one who notices it. Very clearly, it looks like people are taking action against y'all. In the least. Even the wizards are saying, people are watching. And whoever's throwing magic at me, it's not working. It's not having the intended effect. Do I believe in magic? Yeah, that might be why it's not working. I don't think it's more powerful than Yahweh. And I know it's not more powerful than Yahweh. It's relatively powerless. I think it's more like, hey, they're shooting a gun. They're gonna hit something. It ain't gonna be me. If it does hit me, it's allowed to in order to incur some kind of thing on them or something. But it doesn't look like much of it. Other than this, whatever this rot is that's gone on with my leg, it doesn't feel like much any of that shit has worked. Oh, okay. We're about at the time that I said I would. Oh, look, it's Kim Castro. Okay. Oh my gosh, my favorite weather lady. My favorite meteorologist, y'all. I don't think they like being called weather ladies.
You are a lady is a good thing to be called. It's like a dignified title. But anyway, let's listen to what she has to say.
From it, which would signal the potential of some spin in the atmosphere that could drop down into the ground. So if you are in this quadrant, so north of Wallsville, in Moss Bluff, pushing towards Devers, this is moving at the northeast jog of 10 miles an hour. If you're within this area, time to get to your safe space. Take your phone or your tablet with you so you can keep updated with any new warnings that pop up. But go to an interior space in your home and stay protected for the time being until that warning expires at 5 o'clock in the morning. In addition to the radar indicated rotation, we're seeing radar indicated large hail, 1 inch in diameter. Notice those wind speeds right now being picked up. So 50, 60 miles an hour. I saw wind gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour. So even if there isn't rotation, we are certainly picking up on some damaging wind potential. Here's the hail tracks over the last 2 hours. So we saw these severe thunderstorm warnings push all along the north side of the bay. So League City all the way up into Chambers County, pushing just south of Mont Belvieu. And where you see those turquoise colors, those light blue colors, this is radar indicated golf ball sized hail. So something you want to shelter from as well. In addition to these severe thunderstorm warnings, we've been seeing a number of flash flood warnings popping up all morning long. And that's again because we're seeing this boundary that will just not budge. So we saw that north of the city during the late night and early overnight hours. And now as we're waking up early this morning, 4:30, we're seeing that boundary establishing itself along the I-10 corridor, just east of Cloverleaf, pushing into Chambers County north of Anahuac. So this area that's been shaded there in a bright green is under a flash flood warning until 7:15. So that means avoid travel for the next few hours. We're looking at the potential of street flooding, high water spots, stalled out vehicles. You do not want to be caught, especially in the darkness, in any of these areas. So if your commute typically takes you on this route, stay put for the next few hours. This includes Chambers, Harris, and Liberty counties, some 300,000 people. To the north of us, that's where the boundary was previously situated. You'll notice it's now dropped southward. Another flash flood warning, this one only lasting for the next 15 minutes or so. That doesn't mean all the water is going to recede that quickly. It just means the imminent threat of more new incoming water is starting to diminish again because that's pushing south. So this includes Polk, San Jacinto, until about, like I mentioned, 4:45, about 6,000 people affected. Now, this is going to last us just the next couple of hours. I think by the time most of us are getting up to get to work, a lot of this will have subsided. However, for the time being, the heavy rain in that boundary really stays stalled out for our far south and southeastern cities and counties. So keep that in mind. Future Track has us kind of on alert to see the potential of downpours and severe thunderstorm warnings, at least I would say through the 7 o'clock hour, potentially lasting until about 9. I'm gonna step off to show you again those areas that have been tornadically warned. Doesn't mean that we have confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground. However, radar is showing us signs of rotation. And when we see that, we could see the severe thunderstorm warning bring the rotation down to the ground. So we saw the first warning that was there near League City that's since expired. We're still tracking the severe thunderstorm that is now warranting a tornado warning along the I-10 corridor that again lasts until 5 o'clock. And you'll notice more of these severe storms pushing out of the way, prompting new severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings to the east of us. So a lot of this activity is shifting towards the east. However, I'll be watching, see just near Baytown, that bright yellow flashing there, that's a new severe thunderstorm warning. And I'm not surprised because when we see that reflectivity there with the bright purple, that signals at least some large hail dropping in the area. And I'm sure they'll be watching for the possibility of some tornadic rotation there too. We're seeing two air masses clashing, that stalled out boundary, the push of the sea breeze, the Gulf moisture, and both of those kind of colliding together could work up some spin in the atmosphere. So Baytown, now under a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado is possible. You'll notice that quadrant includes LaPorte, Beach City, and pushes towards Mont Belvieu. So these storms are moving pretty slowly. Venture to guess that this is moving northeast around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind speeds within the severe thunderstorm warning, 60 miles an hour. So definitely impacts from the severe thunderstorm in addition to the possibility of tornadic rotation. Hail detected by the radar, just under an inch. So large hail possible with this new severe thunderstorm warning as well. In addition to that, we're keeping a really close eye on the active tornado warning just to the north of there. So these storms are building and perpetuating just ahead of them. We have team coverage this morning with meteorologist Chris Ramirez. Chris, what else are you picking up there on radar?
Yes, we are still tracking that tornado warning storm. Like Kim just said, that new severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for portions of Chambers and Harris counties. But we're really going to have to start paying attention to what's happening north of the city of Houston. So we're seeing some of this heavier rainfall now slowly moving southward. So we're going to start seeing that rainfall start potentially causing a flooding threat across the city of Houston as you're able to see that band of heavy rain that's moving southward. So as these storms are making a more of a southeasterly movement, they're coming into a lot more atmospheric energy, and that's really the cause of them becoming tornado warned. So if you're around Baytown, like Kim was just saying, that severe thunderstorm warning was just issued, and we are seeing the trend of the rotation that's happening with these storms as they're making their way along the I-10 corridor and in the direction towards Beaumont. So as we step off screen here, we're looking at the potential rotation that's happening. They did allow that that tornado warning to expire for portions of League City. Now we're seeing that flooding threat increasing for Baytown east of Houston. But as we look at that rotation across the area, we are expecting that to be still ongoing as this storm is very slow moving across the area. So right now we're seeing a little bit just near Hancomer, north of I-10. We're seeing a little bit of a notch there as this is taking a more of a easterly movement near 61. Wind speeds are really not too impressive right now, but we're still dealing with that heavy rainfall that's currently happening east of the city of Houston. So severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Chambers and Harris counties. This is east of Houston along I-10. This does include the city of Baytown, Shore Acres, Mont Bellevue. And just keep in mind that as these storms take a more of a southeasterly movement towards Beaumont, we are seeing them become severe and tornado warned. And we're really going to have to keep an eye on that as well as we go into the next few hours. And like I said, we really can't ignore what's happening in the city of Houston. Most of that heavier rain has ended for the city, but now we are starting to see these storms move into the northern part of town as well as that lightning. So heavy rainfall is going to start contributing to that flooding threat for the Houston area, especially if we continue to see these storms make that more of a southeasterly movement. So we're still tracking these tornado warned storms as they're becoming stronger as that system moves those storms off towards the southeast of us. So I'm going to go ahead and send it over to meteorologist Kim Castro for more.
Yeah, we've definitely seen developments over the last 30 minutes or so. Rather than the stationary boundary part to the north of us, that's where the heavy rain impacts have been all morning long. We're really seeing a push of this boundary towards the east, and southeast of there is where we're starting to see those severe thunderstorms and those tornadic warned storms starting to pop up. So near Baytown, that is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is capable of producing a tornado. So when I turn on velocity, you'll see exactly where we're seeing the buckling of the wind and the potential churning of the wind. So this is near Beach City. It's moving northeast at 15 miles an hour, and for the next about 30 minutes or so, we are going to be tracking this closely. This could potentially get a tornado warning. A lot of broad rotation outside with these storms, and so at any moment these could consolidate, and once they start to tighten up and button up and we start to see signatures like this becoming a little bit more defined and a little bit more rotational, that's when we can start to see those severe thunderstorm warnings become tornadic warnings. So we'll keep a close eye on that for the next half hour. 60-mile-an-hour winds reported regardless of possible rotation. So this is impacts to homes. This is impacts throwing around loose furniture outside. So definitely you want to stay inside during the duration of the severe thunderstorm warning. Just to the northeast of there, also tornado warning that we've been tracking. This is set to expire in the next 20 minutes. Chambers and Liberty County, so just north of the I-10 corridor pushing towards Devers. So this includes, again, Moss Bluff, right along Highway 90 east of Liberty. There's been broad rotation that's now expanded a little bit, so this does show signs of weakening regardless. Still tracking some impactful winds, 50 miles an hour, not to mention some large hail signatures. So again, this entire area kind of just pushing north of the bay, trying to exit into Liberty and Chambers County has been really problematic for us over the last hour. So hail signatures over the last 2 hours look like this. So anything that you see there that's a little bright gray, that's anywhere between nickel to quarter size, and then the bright blue, that's golf-sized hail. So that's what we're seeing in Herkimer. Golf-sized hail recorded from these severe thunderstorm warnings, and of course a lot of heavy rain. If you were up this morning or perhaps you got woken up by the heavy rain, it is like going through a car wash right now. We're seeing very large amounts of rainfall, which is causing a concern for flash flooding in neighborhoods, as well as stalled out vehicles and high water spots at the very least. So in addition to the severe thunderstorms, we're watching flash flooding concerns through the later morning hours, so through the commute for a lot of folks that typically take the I-10 corridor, head to the refineries towards Mont Bellevue, towards Baytown, Short Acres, anywhere near the bay. You're going to have a lot of problems with this amount of rain in this short period of time. So 350,000 people affected by that first flash flood warning. That's for Chambers, Harris, and Liberty County. And then even though the stalled out boundary has now pushed towards the east, still seeing impacts from the rain that came down early this morning and overnight last night. So Huntsville down to Conroe, Cleveland, Livingston, this entire area. I want to show you how much rain it received just about the 12-hour time frame. Really over the last 6 hours is when we saw this rain pick up. After 10 in the evening, rainfall rates started to skyrocket, because when we have a stalled out boundary, it means we get rounds and rounds of rain without any movement. And of course, that's too much moisture for the ground to soak up. So near Oakhurst, radar indicated about 9 inches of rain, 9 to 10. North of Beat Eyes, same deal there. Those magenta colors signal anywhere between 8 to 9, even upwards of 10 inches of rain in some spots. So Huntsville area, Trinity area, 5, 6, again, upwards of 9 inches of rain. And now when we widen the look, you'll notice those deeper colors starting to show up near the bay. So Baytown towards Liberty, that's where we're seeing the heavy rain and the stalled out boundary set up right now. And so that's why there's a flash flood concern for them as well. But of course, the immediate threat is going to be the potential for severe thunderstorm warnings capable of producing tornadoes. So the tornado warning that we had set up until 5 o'clock in the morning has been downgraded into a severe thunderstorm warning. So what the National Weather Service is seeing, the radar indicated rotation instead of consolidating and showing the potential of reaching the ground, it's broadened out a little bit. Now, this doesn't mean it can once again tighten up. It can, and so that's why we're still keeping a really close eye on those 2 areas. Severe thunderstorm warnings where a tornado is possible. It means we're not seeing radar signatures as of now. We'll watch to see how that rotation kind of expands or contracts. And if it contracts again, we'll have to upgrade that to a tornado warning once more. But for the time being, tracking 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one including the area here for Short Acres to Mont Bellevue, the other just north of the I-10 corridor, north of Chambers County into Liberty. Both of these are moving northeast at 15 miles an hour. This is going to be the quadrant to really watch this morning. This is where the boundary is set up, Chris. We have team coverage with Chris Ramirez this morning, and so this is going to be a focal point, I'd say, at least until 7 o'clock this morning.
Yes, Kim, and like you mentioned, as these storms are taking more of a southeasterly movement, they are becoming stronger, especially as they move along the I-10 corridor. So in addition to the possible rotation that's happening with these storms, we're definitely dealing with lots of lightning in and around Baytown, north of Leak City. But like Kim just mentioned, we are tracking those 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for Chambers and Liberty counties. And just keep in mind that we are also seeing more of this heavier rainfall move in the direction towards Galveston, and as well as in portions of North Houston. So no warnings right now for the city of Houston. It's just with these storms as they are slowly moving off towards the east along I-10 towards Louisiana, they are starting to strengthen as they come in contact with more increased atmospheric energy. And also too, that it's been raining here, heavy rain, sheets of rain for the past 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So that flash flood warning is now in effect, that it does include portions of Deer Park, even Baytown, north of Shore Acres, as this torrential heavy rainfall is going to continue to fall. these storms are not moving fast. As we're starting to see some of that heavier rain now moving into the northern parts of Houston and around Bush Airport, near just north of the 610 corridor. So the threat for severe weather is still in place across the area, but we are also expecting these severe thunderstorm warnings to have that tornado potential as they move off towards the southeast. Of course, we're tracking the latest weather happenings here across southeast Texas. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Steph for an update.
All right, Chris and Kim Castro, thank you very much for an intense morning from the weather department and over the weekend as well, as we turn now to the damage left behind after the storms in Trinity County overnight. Roads there are flooded, trees were blown over, and a home was nearly destroyed. We're told some residents had minor injuries caused by the weather. Meanwhile, we will continue to monitor the conditions in Trinity County and in Houston, and we will, of course, keep you updated both on air and online. At 4:46 right now, 3 school districts are currently being impacted by the weather. Trinity ISD and Madisonville CISD are both closed today, and there's also a 2-hour delay for students at Corrigan Camden ISD. And here's a live look at the CenterPoint outage tracker. Right now, more than 13,000 customers are waking up in the dark. And turning back to our breaking news from overnight, right now police are searching for a suspect in a deadly shooting. This is the scene here from just after 9 o'clock last night on Beechnut Street near the West Beltway in Alief. We're told that 2 men were involved in an argument, and one of them pulled out a gun and shot the victim several times. That victim died at the scene. At this hour, we are working to learn more about that person and any potential suspects. Also breaking right now, 2 people are dead, and the Harris County Sheriff says it's
Man, straight from weather into the most depressing shit. I mean, kind of. Yeah, one guy pulled out a gun and shot the other. Next on the agenda, it's like another deadly. It's like, I'm just gonna go back to weather. At least the weather doesn't always have to be deadly, though. You know, it's pissing me off this much. Whatever's going on with Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio Wilkins is really bothering me, and I think it's pissing me all the way off. And I think he's making points, and there's enough pattern over time that it's like you just got to be denying reality if you're gonna keep defending, which people will. But at some point, something with more power is gonna realize it is more in your interest to not than to keep allowing it, or to keep doing it in Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio's case. Ambrosio Wilkins. Hey, there's also Kim Castro, my favorite meteorologist. You can call me a weather gentleman. A lord of weather. Actually, I think that's actually more appropriate than maybe for anybody else, but if you want to, you're welcome to. But I say, I'm going to just call Yahweh that. Psalm 29 is about it, I think. Anyway, okay, I'm going to end this here. This is an hour and 45 minutes. That's long enough. But, don't usually get tornado warnings in videos, so it is, it is what it is. Whatever the situation is with Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio Wilkins is, I either want them forced here, I want some kind of change. I am pretty sure something is going to happen in Brazil weather-wise here soon, and then, I think the stuff in China also is going to be extreme in both those instances, and, elsewhere also. But just the fact that this is still going on, and, how much, at a certain point, once a point is proven, and it's just proven, what do I got to prove the next point, 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 the next point? I don't have to. But it seems like something is unwilling to relinquish
whatever it's taken from me and whatever it's trying to beat me over the head with. And it's pissing Yahweh off. And it's going to ultimately disturb more people than you're worth. And that's when you have a problem. I think they would do something to me, Yahweh will make it worse for them than, you go do something, you go actually fix that, Yahweh blesses them. That's my point with Alessandro, Naja, and Brojo Wilkins. They're my dogs. Else, something needs to convince them, kindly, stop. I'm saying this like this for a reason. Anyway, that's it. I specifically avoided speaking during the portions where KHOU 11 was talking, by the way, because if I have to, I can just cut those portions out. Stuff that Lightning Lab 15. But also, it's not going to be perfectly synced up because I'm listening to it through my speakers so that I can hear it from over here. I don't want to sit in that chair, possibly miss part of the show. This is as much a show to me as it is to y'all. It's not a show to Yahweh. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Or the spirit of Yahweh. And by the end of it, I'm the dude that clearly has that spirit in me. And so when Alessandro, Naja, Brojo, Wilkins are poking me, symbolically from wherever the fuck they are, and I'm held at an arm's length from doing something, they aren't at an arm's length or, past the reach of Yahweh is my point. And I really believe the whole, you're disturbing me is disturbing others because Yahweh is making a point to disturb others because you won't stop disturbing me. I've been very kind to say, hey, you can come be my friends and my dogs. If that's what you are. Are you my friends? Okay. What's up, dog? Come be my dogs. You know what I'm saying? But this whole whatever the fuck is going on where they're trying to make me jealous or beat me over the head with their sexuality, that shit needs to end. You've clearly made bad choices with your sexuality. I don't need that point proven to me over and over again. You are unwise. Or you are wise in the ways of the world, but, the world's an idiot, so the world's stupid. Jesus already conquered over this place. It is not as strong as God. It is not as justified either. I can actually see that it looks like we're about to have some bands of rain over top. So I might give it a few minutes. As I come back on. I don't know, let me check, hold on. To be honest, I'm going to say this. I don't need to get any more footage of me doing storm stuff. That's not, I have 15 on these. How many hours and hours do I have? I got a lot. There's a lot. I will get more. There will be more storms, too.
So, I am gonna end it here. I want whatever this situation is with Alessandra and Ambrosio Wilkins ended. Come be my dogs. Come engage me face to face. Let's talk. Come sit. You're like Chris Hansen. Come sit. Explain yourselves. I'm not kidding. That one's not a joke. Might be a yoke. You're yoked into this situation. What happened with Beyonce and Fernando Mota that was a bit too much. That one's too obvious. Y'all are yoked into a situation that you don't seem to understand. And having some of the wizards on YouTube try to make me feel like I don't know what's going on. Naive. It's very naive. Am I naive? Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm in an impossible situation, actually. And it seems like I'm getting out of it day by day. So, alright. That's it. I'm into this here. Alessandra and Andrea Ambrosio Wilkins, my dog wives. my besties and dog wives. Come sit. Explain yourselves. Make a video. Use this setup. You can tell people why you let this devolve into this. Whatever this shit show is. And how y'all thought, or whoever the fuck thought this would work out. Anyway, alright. Have a blessed one. Catch you next time. Later. Yeah.